Oh, hey there. Welcome to the Close Friends List podcast. We're so excited to have you here. You've been added to our close friends list. Before we jump into this episode and start yapping and gabbing, wanted to stop by and let you know that you can find us on social media at Close Friends List Pod. You can find us on TikTok, Twitter, Insta, Spotify, YouTube, and anywhere else with podcast platforms. We're so excited to see you online and hope to be added to your close friends list. Let's get into this episode. Welcome back to the Close Friends List. You're here today with Katie, Aaron, and Adia. And we got a store, don't we?
We do.
Every week, baby. Something new every week.
Every week.
I don't know if anybody did anything interesting this week, but we do have to at least address Adia. Your birthday, baby. Woo!
I did have one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How was it? What'd you do?
Didn't do much. I went to lunch and I just played outside with the kids and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's the mom life now,
Yeah.
just boring.
I was so sad though. You said Feeny cried because you didn't
Oh
have
my
a party.
gosh.
That was so.
He loves
Ain't he crying anything?
No.
I'm like, I get kids do that, but I'm like,
He wasn't crying because he loves me. He was crying because it
no.
wasn't an opportunity for him
Okay.
to party and to get toys.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
So-
I completely understand that, but the image of Feeny crying,
Yeah. He was
Thanks.
literally, we were driving from my mom's house and it was like, oh, we're going to your party, right? And I'm like, oh, babes, I'm not having a party. He's like, hold on. You're not having a
birthday
party?
means party.
And I was like,
Yeah.
he's like, it's your birthday. I'm like, yeah. He's like, but your party. I'm like, we're just going to lunch. He's like, you're not having a party. He's like bawling.
Oh.
He's like, I wanted to go to a party. I'm like, you just went to one
Yeah.
yesterday.
Yeah,
You
that
That was the party.
Yesterday.
and that one was
Mhm.
sick from the looks of it.
Oh,
I
he
mean,
had a blast.
I'm sure.
And then
it looked
we
amazing.
got home and he sees the gift that Aaron got me like in the box and he wants to open it because I'm not allowed to open any gifts. Like he has to open it. I'm like, no, we can't open it. So I like end up hiding the gift.
Oh, but he remembers.
He remembered, but I didn't.
Obviously.
And then I'm like, oh shit, I have a gift from Aaron. And I opened it like 2 days later or something.
So
And he sees it in the car and he's like,
Oh.
oh, that's for me. And I'm like, no, it's from Aaron. He's like, Aaron got it for me. I'm like, no.
Not this time, buddy.
Yeah, so
Well,
yeah, 31.
yeah. What now? You know,
You know, what
Not
do you-
much.
What now?
Big 3-1. I guess.
yeah. Aaron, you're next.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
Can't believe it's almost been a year since California.
I know.
I think about that trip every
was just looking at this picture.
every
Yeah.
week, and I'm like, wow, that was so fun.
Well, happy birthday. We love you.
Yes. Happy B-Day.
Oh,
So
please,
fun.
guys.
Well, I guess that'll bring us to our question this week. And I did change it, so let me
Oh,
check.
you did?
Yeah.
Oh,
It's in
dang.
the same vein. It's in the same
Okay,
vein as what
okay.
it was. I just don't remember what I. Okay. Sorry, I have literally 100 tabs open on this computer.
Okay.
If you were a supernatural creature, what would you want to be? And some examples: werewolf, vampire, witch, orc, gargoyle,
Mm-hmm.
fairy,
Mm-hmm.
mermaid. You know, we got a list.
Options there for sure.
There are quite a few.
I feel like I would want to be a fairy,
Hmm.
fly around.
Magic.
Yeah, magic. Because my dream, my dream like superpower would be teleportation, but also just getting places like where I don't have to drive or fly, whatever, fly in an airplane. So I'm like, okay, like fairy, I could just doop, done.
Yeah.
I also was gonna say mermaid, but then I thought of like the deep depths of the water, and I was like, never mind.
Yeah.
Like that's crazy.
That's a hard no. I would say probably not that I like them because I don't like them, but I'd say a ghost for sure. Just because you can go through walls, you can just show up and
So
appear.
that's not off the docket. That could still be something that you eventually become.
I
in
could.
theory.
I'm hoping I don't. I'm really hoping I don't. But If
Then, okay.
I don't like ghosts.
I know, and I know you just listed some good reasons why you want to be. But it's like if you really don't want to be, why would you say it?
Because it could, I mean, it has perks. Like, you could go wherever you wanted to go,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
I feel like you could do similar things as a witch. You could like open a portal, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, but then you're messing with witchcraft, and that's the whole.
yeah.
She said,
Forgot.
no, thank you.
Yeah.
It's a whole other ball game. Okay, yeah, they're playing that one there.
That's funny. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So even saying the word, I'm like, oh, no, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But yeah, definitely, I think a ghost. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, honestly, there's too much to consider. I honestly don't know. I also was like maybe a mermaid, but then not necessarily the depths, but like I don't know.
No
Like
legs is like a thing, you know.
I could be fine with that, but like climate change,
Yeah.
you know, the carbon in the water and
That's
all
the
that.
environmentalist
And
studies
then
of you.
I was like, I love obviously I love a werewolf, obviously, but then it's like
Yeah.
breaking my bones every full moon. Like, no,
That's a
I'm
lot.
not.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Yeah.
What? You know what I mean? There's
Your
nothing
clothes would just be done.
exactly. And then we've talked about
Yeah.
it before. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I could do it
Long term.
realistically. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
The commitment.
So I did end up coming to like probably like a witch. Like it seems
Yeah,
the
I
most
could see
tame,
that.
but like with the most benefit. Like
Mm-hmm.
you know, could be like earthy, could be doesn't have to be devil witchery, could be, you know, I'm making potions
That's
and
true.
you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
so I feel like that
Like
makes the
Glinda.
most sense probably. Glinda.
Glinda, the good witch?
Did she make potions?
I don't know.
I
She
don't
was a good
remember.
witch, though.
Okay, you're
Right?
right. She was.
Right?
Well,
That's what her name is.
Glinda.
yeah.
Glinda.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I know.
Yeah, that's what her name is.
That's
We
alphabet.
know. Yep.
Same vibe, same energy. Yeah. No, that's
I mean, Alphabet was kind of good if you really think about it, too. She just wanted to free the
yeah,
animals.
that's the whole thing, you know.
She was
Yeah.
a
the
witch.
play.
Oh,
Yeah.
that makes a lot of sense.
It's all propaganda. She's not actually bad.
She's not bad.
Yeah.
Like
She's just green.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, exactly.
Mm.
Yeah. We
Wow.
can't open that can of worms right now.
Yeah, that's a different episode now.
We're going back. We'll go back to the musical episode and deep dive into Wicked one day.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's move on a little bit because I wanted to talk about cryptids today. And
Yeah.
you guys' thoughts on cryptids. And
I'm here.
I do have a little moment for us because
Okay.
I was like, if we're gonna talk, I might as well give you guys something to reference.
Yeah.
I might as well also give you some information, you know, some tea, but
Yes.
hold on, I have to
I will
edit something.
say, I don't remember this being a conversation in the group chat.
Yeah, you did not really answer much this week, so I just decided to do it.
Sick. That's totally okay.
I felt like you were overwhelmed with the editing, so I was like,
I
I was
was
gonna talk about cryptids this week.
overwhelmed with everything. But I read the doc and I'm like, did I miss this message? Like,
It scrolls back like, hello, wait.
did I miss? I know I've been like not
No.
locked in, but like I'm not like that disconnected. Like I would remember
No.
cryptids. I feel like
You didn't miss a thing. I was just like, you know what? Let's do this. Okay.
So
I
funny.
actually thought it was the April Fool's joke because the first thing was like April Fool's video. I'm like, oh, so this is the joke, is that we're
This
talking
is the
about
bit.
cryptids. Okay, got it.
That's funny.
I love that you guys have time to do stuff like this.
Well, yeah. About that.
It's so nice to not have kids.
Speaking of no kids, my TikTok has been filled with the 21 with no kids trend. Have you seen it? It's just people like dancing to the 21 with no kids like song, and then like just whatever age they are, and they're like 38 with no kids, and it's getting a lot of TikTok moms mad. That's a different conversation. Like we move
are
on.
jealous of free time. What can I say?
That's
We're
so
bitter.
But they're like, it's not better, and you're like, stop shaming people with no kids. Anyway, back to this.
jealous.
I will say, I feel like you guys are gonna know pretty much everything on here. Like you're gonna recognize a lot of these, but I just thought like let's put in some info, some like investigation information because people spend a lot of time, you know, looking into this. So this is the Close Friends List creature feature.
Ooh,
and
that's good.
Love.
I just felt the need to include this for no particular reason. So I do have some credentials.
Yeah.
I have been to the International Cryptozoology Museum. It's the only one that exists. I've been there.
Where?
That's in Maine. That's where I took my Bigfoot photo. Honestly, I do highly recommend it. If you find yourself in Maine, it is an interesting site. They have a lot of relics in the cryptozoology sphere. Like there was the original mermaid skeleton was there. And I think like one of the Yeti things was there. It's kind of a blur now, but it was a good time. It was amazing.
I would love to go.
It gets a little more downhill from here because these are all just they're not real. I read a lot of paranormal romance, so like I'm really interested in the fake.
She's in there, yeah.
In the fantasy of it all.
Yeah.
But I also have a science degree, so
True.
I am also like the reality of the situation. And then I've also been to New Jersey, and I can confirm I've seen no devils there.
True.
So yeah, exactly.
Seconded.
So that's that. Let's move on to what a cryptid is. Again, you guys know this, but this is more for our listeners. Most of the time, they are animal beings that people claim to exist, but their existence is disputed or unsubstantiated by science. So, I mean, I don't know what else. Chupacabra. We might see her on here. A lot of them are rooted in folklore and legend. So we'll see how that kind of ties into some of these, because I feel like some of them are a little bit more explainable than others. But I do feel like I would love to start discussing the big one, Miss Loch Ness herself.
Nessie herself.
So just to give you guys a little bit of background on Nessie, I thought this was so interesting. So obviously we all know like the photo.
Yes.
The first like instance recorded of Loch Ness was in 565.
What?
Year 565. This guy who lived in the area reported that there was a creature that was drowning people in the lake. And like they didn't say what it was. I don't think they knew what it was. I'm sure it was like a lizard or like a snake or something, but that kind of sparked this whole thing that like there are weird things in the water, which I thought was so interesting. Variety of sightings, the water beast drowning people. Okay, some people have seen Nessie on land and called it a salamander like
I could
creature.
see that.
Interesting, yeah.
Yeah. Whale-like fish, legless dragon. That one was also on land.
Snake.
Someone was driving by. Prehistoric creature, so like a dinosaur looking. And then toy submarine is what some people are like, look, I saw a toy submarine. So just generally, like from what you guys know about Loch Ness, like real, not real, thoughts?
I think the Loch Ness was real, but could not procreate.
Okay.
No,
okay.
couldn't procreate, so they couldn't make any more.
I love where you're going with that, actually.
Yeah.
So
I think at the time, yes, there was Loch Ness, but unless it was like a self-spawning situation, I think it just extinct.
Because the thing with Loch Ness is Loch is lake.
Yes.
And so it is a lake. I mean, some people saw it on land, so like in theory it could go between lakes. But yeah, it is like a locked-in situation, which is funny.
Yeah. I definitely believe like there was something. Like I believe someone saw something in there. I'm like, was it like a snake, a lizard, a bit like a massive, but it's like, you know? So
yeah, I love that. I put some science on here because all of these photos have sparked people to obviously investigate. They're like, I need to find Nessie. I mean, that's the T, right? So there have been multiple sonar readings, which, okay, I put 1954 and 2011. There's been more, but those were like the biggest ones, like most notable. They did actually find that there was something big following the boat with sonar readings, which is crazy to think about. One of them did say, who was it? I literally have notes because it was also
like, who was it?
Thing. I'm like, so the one in 2011 where they thought something was following the boat for 2 minutes. This is so crazy to me. A scientist is claiming that it was a bloom of algae and zooplankton.
Okay,
like you're actually kidding. Something was following.
Would sonar even pick that up?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It's crazy.
Yeah, no. They have to just.
So I thought that was interesting. Apple Maps, on Apple Maps in 2014, there was a large creature below the surface. It looked about 98 feet long. Skeptics say that it was the wake of a boat. On Apple Maps?
Okay, they wouldn't publish that.
That's what I'm saying. Drone footage in 2021, there was a 20-foot creature captured on a live stream. Just creature, who knows what that is? Yeah.
Could have been
creature.
And some of the So a lot of the photos that they have that are popular have been criticized for, like this one,
Yeah.
they criticized it for like cropping and saying like it's a swan, but like they zoomed in and made it look bigger than it is.
Yeah.
Mm.
The wings.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. There was another notable photo that they later somebody was like, it was actually my toy submarine, so that's where the toy submarine came from.
Mm. I was like, toy submarine is random, but okay.
2007, there was the best video footage they thought they found of Nessie was a jet black thing about 46 feet long moving fast in the water. A marine biologist suggested it was an otter, seal, or water bird. 40 feet?
40 feet.
Seals don't get
That's
that big.
crazy.
No.
A
No.
lake?
No.
In a lake.
Yeah. And one of the guys who did I think it was in 2011, the sonar readings, they also dove in the lake and took some like photos and stuff. And
Yeah.
they got photos of flippers, which is interesting. And scientists were like, no, I don't think that's a flipper. Or like, I think it's like a seal. Or somebody said like algae again. And I'm like, what?
What is up with the
What is,
algae?
they also said air bubbles or a rock.
What?
Hello? Air
Air bubbles?
Okay.
crazy. So definitely the science out here is a little
Iffy.
iffy for sure. I mean,
Yeah.
I understand where skeptics are coming from, but at the same time, some of it is just a little too far, like
Yeah.
too far.
There are too many sightings, and it's like
Yeah.
all of this continually. Like, what are we talking about?
They did do a DNA survey of the lake and they found nothing like out of the ordinary, but the most DNA was eel. So they were like, maybe there was like a big eel there. I do. One of my favorites was, again, the guy who did one of the sonars was like, similar to you, I think there was a Nessie. I
Yeah.
think that there was something here, but he blames global warming. He said the lake got too
Mm.
hot and
Yeah.
couldn't stay there.
I could see that.
Yes, he had to go.
Yeah, similar vibe. So I don't know. I feel like they really missed the mark on some of these. Like, if it looks like a legless dragon, like why don't we just call it a snake? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
why?
Saying all of the extras is
Yeah,
like, yeah.
yeah. So I do think there was, but it's just kind of interesting.
Mm-hmm.
This one had the most lore, which is like,
I love it though.
no, that's what I'm saying.
It's
Like,
the actual lore, you know.
it really is, and it's just there's so much there, and I hope we never stop looking.
No,
You know what I mean?
there.
Like, keep sinking our science dollars into this.
Please.
It's important. Sisters, not twins. Let's talk a little bit about Champ. So Champ is the American Nessie.
Mm.
She is in like the New York, Vermont, Canada triangle. And
That's enough right there to know.
that it wasn't real. This one, because like Nessie is so majestic to me.
Yeah.
Champ, she's in Lake Champlain, so like that's where
Okay.
she gets the name. I'm like something. It
That
feels like
just-
copycat, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
It feels,
Mm.
Not the same energy.
it's really not. I don't have about her because again, I really just don't think there's that much there.
Yeah.
This is one.
When
of
was Champ? Oh, well, there we
Well,
go.
okay.
I was like, when was the first sighting?
have much detail. Like it was first noted in 1609 in folklore legends, but it doesn't. There weren't like that many sightings between 1609 and like basically the 1900s.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If there were, it's just not documented somewhere for me to find. I'm sure there's like folklore passed down from like families in the area.
For sure.
Thick as a barrel, head like a horse.
That's what I'm saying. 20-foot serpent, thick as a barrel, and head like a horse. Like, I just.
That sounds like an eel.
Yeah, exactly. 20 feet.
Like a big eel.
Like Loch Ness, they're
something.
talking 40 feet in some of these
Yeah.
random sightings.
Yeah.
And this, you've got a 20-foot, like snakes get to 20 feet long.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Mm-hmm.
not that common, but it's not like
God knows what's in the water in New York, you know.
Exactly.
It could be anything.
The tea about the photo on the right is that this photo, in theory, that is 14 feet of water. So like people would have seen Champ.
Yeah, where's the rest? Yeah.
Exactly. You're calling it 20 feet long, and that's the photo we got. And 14 feet water. It's crazy.
No.
And it's not like it was far from shore. It was pretty close to shore, and like people are like they would see it.
Yeah.
They would see whatever. So like this photo, nobody has like claimed that it was fake, but also like
Yeah.
it's not really giving.
It's not the same.
It's not really giving.
They tried it though.
Like I'll believe a little bit more about the Loch Ness ones. This one I'm like, I don't know what that is, but
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
but that ain't Champ. No.
That is not a cousin of Nessie.
Oh, this is funny. There was a 2005 video of somebody like they got like a creature swimming in the water, and I thought this was so wild that they decided to put this on there. The FBI reviewed this video and was like, "Oh yeah, this is an unmanipulated video, aka whatever you're seeing, like the creature was not edited in."
Oh,
It could
It could be anything. It could be a creature. Can mean many
and
things.
they never specified. The FBI did not say this is Champ. They just said it's an unedited video. So
Yeah.
like, okay, is it just like a toy
Creature.
submarine?
Yeah, it
Is
could
it
be
just like
anything.
mhm.
and okay, I will say I don't know what this is about, but there is echolocation noted in that lake. Like creatures that should not be echolocating live in that lake, and they have found that there are things echolocating there. So like a whale. But like I don't think Champ's there.
No.
I don't know about you guys.
Mm.
Thoughts?
No, the New York thing already killed it for me.
Yeah.
I have no thoughts on this one currently. I'm just like,
That's so
No.
funny.
honestly, the picture looks like someone just being like this.
Yeah. Someone doing like,
I'm just, like so like about to. I'm just like,
and the lady who took this
and
photo,
that's what I just keep seeing.
yeah, it was obviously on film. They were like, "Can we see the negative?" So that way, sometimes you can get a little more detail.
Yeah.
From the negative.
Right.
I don't have it. Okay, girl.
Okay, well,
Yay.
so you got your friend in the water.
Exactly. It seriously looks like someone freestyling or
You're
whatever.
Literally.
Yeah. There was also supposed drone footage showing a large creature following a boat, but again, I'm not buying the Champ of it all. Like there might be some, but I'm not thinking
It's not her.
It's not Loch Ness. Let me tell you,
Not her.
Yeah.
not Nessie. The next one is I feel like we're all so skeptical, but we'll see. Bigfoot baby.
Yes.
Okay.
100%.
You think he's real?
I lived in the PNW. Absolutely.
Okay, Aaron, thoughts up
You
front?
know, I could see this one being real.
Okay, you guys are so funny to me.
I think that Phoenix is terrified of Bigfoot.
I mean, he's a scary. Like,
Anytime he
idea.
sees the woods, he's like, "Is Bigfoot in there?" Like, we'll go to the park.
Aw.
Like, Bigfoot's in there. I'm like, Bigfoot doesn't live in Virginia.
True. I mean, okay, that's maybe not true. I said that, but like when I was researching, there are Bigfoots all over the world, baby.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
Yes.
Okay.
It's a species.
This is so funny that you guys are like really. This is the one I was least like. This is not real to me. Like the
What?
Oh, interesting.
this list, I was like, Bigfoot is like the fakest to me. He's not real.
Bigfoot makes the most sense.
Okay, he doesn't, but we'll get there.
She's like shutting that down now.
Okay, one of my first bullet points is that science is the most mad at this one. Science has a lot to say about Bigfoot.
Mm-hmm.
So
Because he's the most real.
you guys, we all know the tea. Large, hairy, mythical creature said to inhabit forests.
I don't know what makes him
done that.
mythical. I just think he's a big animal.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
I don't even think there's any mythical things about, like, I don't
Right.
think he can talk. I don't think he can do any of that. I think
Right.
he's just a
Yeah.
big ass animal.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine. So obviously there have been Bigfoot, like Sasquatch, Yeti situations all over the world for all of time, basically. There have always been. The first report of the Bigfoot name specifically was in 1958 in the Pacific Northwest. A logging company came to work one day and there was a foot in the mud, 26-inch foot in the mud, which is just like, come on. Like, you guys cannot be serious.
No,
right
yeah.
now. Okay.
100%.
I'm gonna give you some tea. I don't know if it's on this next bullet. Let's see what it is. Okay, we'll come back to
I
this.
hate that this video
Yeah.
came out because it really ruined everyone that
Everything.
actually believes in Bigfoot.
Because this guy's fake.
Yes, this is fake. Yes,
Yeah.
we know that this is fake.
Yeah.
And it tainted
Yeah.
the whole idea of Bigfoot.
Yeah. I mean, I was gonna link the video and then I was like, that's too much. But I watched it.
I
It's
love
like,
the video. I mean, I love the video. I
yeah.
think it's a great spoof
Yeah.
of like,
For our listeners, 1967 Patterson Gimlin film. It's a minute long. Go watch it if you haven't seen it. I'm sure. If
I love
you're
it.
interested though, like you've probably.
I mean,
already
there's
seen
times where I walk like him, like in the
That's
video.
funny.
I just think it's so funny.
Well, and it's in this like mockumentary, so like, or they called it a docu-film, I guess. And so it's just like them in the woods.
Mhm.
Everything's nice and clear, and then Bigfoot shows up. The camera starts shaking.
Yeah.
and they're like panning around.
Yeah.
This guy just walks by, and it's like, okay, this is
Looking and walks
not-
by.
Yeah.
My favorite is when like the scientists are like, this is a bipedal animal and he's
Yeah.
walking just like a human
That
bone
is a
structure.
human.
It is a human. That
Yeah,
is. But the
yeah.
real Bigfoot, he would not be caught dead out in the
Okay.
open like that.
Okay.
He wouldn't be.
So to go on the foot thing, the Bigfoot situation, the 26-foot that was found in Pacific
6 foot,
Northwest.
7 foot, Nicki Minaj over here.
So that was reported in 1958. In 2002, a family that like had somebody who worked on this logging site came out and revealed that their ancestor had a collection of large carved wooden feet stored in his basement, and he secretly was making prints as a prank.
I'm sure he did.
Okay, so
But that doesn't mean he was doing it for everywhere in the PNW.
Okay, but have you seen a Bigfoot footprint yourself?
Personally, me, when I lived there, I wasn't out in the woods because I didn't want to.
I'm not hunting.
I wasn't going out because I didn't want to see him.
Okay, so the thing is, science is like Bigfoot is a combination of you wanting to like projection, basically. Like you want to believe it's real, so it is, and you're misidentifying. And it's not even. It's probably a bear. It's not even really a Bigfoot. They have said that there have been theories that maybe this like Bigfoot is like a relict population of an extinct Southeast Asian ape species or an extinct hominid, aka like an old human. But it's like they have found no DNA. If Bigfoot existed, there would be an abundance of evidence. There would be uniform vocalizations because there are reports of like I heard Bigfoot in the forest, and it's like none of them are the same. We would be finding tracks all the time. There would be DNA. There is no DNA
in the woods.
As if people go out there looking for that and don't find anything.
They're deep in there.
They do not find
uninhabited woods.
People go backcountry camping all the time.
I think
all the time.
This cryptid is just so advanced that they would not be around humans.
A fucking caveman. We would.
I don't think he's a man. I don't think he's a man.
Well,
I think he has superior smell senses.
Oh my god.
And hearing abilities, and would be able to get away. And in any instance where someone did see him, I think he might have killed them.
Oh my god, this is crazy.
Because you see a lot of people disappearing in the woods.
I cannot believe this right now.
I
cannot.
I'm loving this.
Every time I drove in Portland and I drove by the woods, I always looked at the tree line because I'm like, this is it. This is gonna be my opportunity. This is my chance.
But if he's so advanced, why would he be by the?
He wouldn't be, and I felt like I would be the one person to see him.
Yeah, I cannot believe this right now.
Because I always wanted to drive passengers so that I could look.
This is wild. This is truly the one. Everything I found about Bigfoot was like, it's fake. It's a hoax. Every single thing. There's all these little things of like, here's a video, here's a footprint. None of it is substantiated. Not one thing. At least with Loch Ness, we got sonar and we got flippers and shit.
Can't do sonar in the woods.
Vocalizations.
What is that?
Them like making noise in the woods. There are videos of them being like, I found Bigfoot, and it's just like clicking. And then there's another one that's
I'm sure they can imitate sounds of the other animals there.
This is crazy. Erin, have you formed an opinion or still not?
Honestly, just
don't care.
Just here for vibes.
Okay.
I'm not deep into it.
That's fine. That's fine.
I was raised on.
I mean, I love the idea.
I was raised on Jesus, so no.
That's too redeeming. Like I can't even say the
word.
So
this was just.
I can't even say the word witch.
She's like, I was raised on. So funny.
Oh my god. I think there was some stuff I've already admitted. A lot of misidentification. I think.
I'll take that one to the grave.
That's funny. That's why I wanted to do
this. I love that.
I knew there was going to be
take that one to the grave.
Some moments here. We're moving on to the Mothman.
I'm sorry, I can't think of Mothman the same anymore. But after that book.
Yeah, I forgot we read that. Yeah.
And now I'm just like, no.
I did this whole thing and completely forgot that I read something like that. So that's
fun.
Yeah. This is specific to West Virginia. And there were I found a lot of cryptids that were like very region specific. And I was like, we could go there, but I didn't really want to go. Like, there's also not that much information on a lot of them. So I feel like Mothman, we all know him. He's pretty popular. Kind of an interesting idea. So even though it's specific to West Virginia, like, let's chat. What do you guys know about Mothman? Well,
that's a drawing.
Yeah, it is.
Like that is a drawing. No, just besides a large, like 7 foot something.
Yeah, so in West Virginia, the wild thing is the sightings were from 1966 to 1967. It is such a short for 1 year, Mothman existed in West Virginia, and
That's
they've been
crazy.
riding that ever since. They have
Yeah.
the whole Mothman Festival. They
They
have a
do.
statue.
Yeah.
It all stemmed from two young couples who were driving. I don't know where they were going. They saw like this large black creature with glowing red eyes and big wings. They said it was like 7 feet tall.
That's not that tall.
Right, like depending on if the guys next to you are 6 feet.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so they told the police, and it turned into like this whole thing. And then everybody started seeing Mothman everywhere. And it's like
Okay.
photos.
Drugs.
Yeah, hence the drawing. There's no photos, no like.
These were drugs.
I think so.
96.
96? I mean, sorry,
66? Yeah. Yeah. It's probably just a bad batch of
That's what I'm saying.
ecstasy.
It
That was
also is like West Virginia, so the like inbred of it all, like in the woods, like
Want to believe, but it's
Mhm.
like you make it really hard when there's not much good. There's
yeah,
these sightings are it. There's no photos, no
Yeah.
videos, no evidence otherwise.
yeah.
Yeah, that was just a couple of high kids.
And there were people who, I mean, corroborated their story like later, like throughout the year, obviously. But it's
Mhm.
like
They were
I'm
high too.
still not really buying it. They also said it was by like some government facility, so like
Oh,
that
please.
that made it feel sketchier to people, right? They're
Yeah.
like, "What's this
Yeah.
at the
Like,
government
oh,
facility?" And
yeah.
it's like, okay, it's really not like that. Science says it was probably a crane.
Okay.
Okay, that was outside of my fiction.
A crane just like
They said I didn't look into what a sandhill crane is. I probably should have, but they said that
that's so
they're
funny.
large. They have reddish coloring around the eyes, and it's possible it's just like outside of its migration pattern, which is why it has not shown back up again.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It's like they're just
Sure.
I mean, who's to say?
Sure.
A bird's a bird.
Yeah.
Like
Mothman's a bird.
you said, it's
so.
got wings, and they said it could be human sized, a sandhill crane. So like that kind of makes sense to me.
I could see that.
Cryptozoologists do not agree. They say that shit's an alien or a supernatural manifestation of an unknown species of animal.
Interesting.
I love the idea of it being an alien, but again, I feel like we would
I don't
have,
think they'd be in West Virginia.
and I think we'd have more to go on. Just
Yeah.
these like 10 sightings over 1
Yeah.
year,
In 1 year, yeah.
and
Yeah,
then
no.
never again, and never. And even if there was like copycats somewhere else, right? Like, so let's say this happened in West Virginia, and then like 10 years later in
Mhm.
Montana, somebody was like, I saw the Mothman. Like, that would
Yeah.
be more
Yeah.
than like
Mhm.
how many we're talking 60 years ago.
Mm-mm.
Just like these people. I don't know. I love the idea, and I think it's a fun concept, but ain't nothing happening here.
Mm-mm. Agreed.
Oh my god, that's so funny.
Yeah,
like-
no. Denied.
Okay, there's more. Whatever. There's more against Bigfoot than Mothman, and you're like, Mothman ain't it.
Nah. I mean, this is a drawing, so
Okay, the Bigfoot was a fake photo that you admitted was a hoax.
yeah, but it's more real though.
Okay, we're moving on. This one we have personal stake in.
Okay.
New Jersey Devil.
Yeah.
I felt like we had to talk about him because we're so invested in New Jersey on this podcast.
Yes, we are.
For seemingly no
Weirdly,
reason.
yeah.
Yeah. I guess there's reasons, but like whatever. So do you guys know anything about the New Jersey Devil? Because I didn't before I
I
started
know
looking.
vaguely.
No.
Okay, what do
Because
you
I was
know?
trying to
Out of
like explain to
curiosity.
my mom that like
Oh well,
the
yeah.
New Jersey Devil is not like the
Like
devil.
actual devil.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But I guess it's just like this little creature guy.
Yeah.
That
I mean,
that's like the lore in New Jersey. Like I didn't want to learn much more than that, honestly.
You said devil? No. Stay back.
I'm good.
yeah. Well, I didn't know much either, and I hate to be like so upfront about it, but I really think this is a lot of folklore. I think this is
Mhm.
like kind of like what I was saying about Bigfoot, like you wanting to think that there's something in the woods. I think this actually, like, I also think Bigfoot is, but I think you're also going to agree this is, unlike Bigfoot, you're going to agree that this is probably folklore based. We'll just see.
There's
I'll
definitely
give you some
something
info.
sinister in New Jersey.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
That's for facts.
Vibes.
Yes.
The bad vibes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the Jersey Devil generally, like, the lore started around 1735, and it was not, I say not necessarily cited. So the original story of the New Jersey Devil is that this woman in Leeds, I don't know where that is in New Jersey, I do not care to look. She was having her 13th child.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
in 1735. And when the child was born, she's, do I have the quote? Let the child be the devil. And the child was born normally, but then immediately after being born, grew wings, a tail, claws, and flew to the floor. Flew to the forest. Come on.
Yeah.
So, like, I say not necessarily a sighting because, like, it's more like a story that, like,
Yeah.
in theory he was there, but nobody's claiming that they
Yeah,
saw
no.
the kid turn into the
13th
devil.
kid, yeah.
Well, see, exactly.
Yeah.
They did that, whatever. Some people say that, like, different versions of that story say that the mother was a witch, and the father was the actual devil, but
New
it's
Jersey's
like,
close to Massachusetts.
yeah, for like witch situation.
yeah.
Yeah. So I thought that was like, it's so interesting that this just like continued, I guess.
Just kept doing it.
We've discussed this in Jersey. I mean, they have so many, it's everything we know. I mean, hooves, horse or goat head, bat-like wings, horns, small arms with clawed hands, pointed tail.
Yeah, rebuke that.
So this continued.
Rebuke that.
Continued because there were like political implications that carried through, like what were they called? The Quakers at the time.
Yes.
Yeah. So there were disputes for, like, I guess the family that the mother originally was from, like, obviously continued, like, there were 12 other kids or whatever in theory, and so the line continued, and some of them became involved in politics, and they were like, that Leeds guy, he's a real monster, he's the devil, and so, like, it literally became like a politician just being like, or my opponent's like a devil, like and it kind of just kept going.
That's crazy.
So, I mean, I don't think there's really much to go on here. Some people have cited it. There weren't any notable sightings like listed anywhere. There wasn't like a photo, obviously, no video, no nothing. There have been footprints people have found. They've been faked. There was a guy who in 1909 dressed up in a kangaroo costume and pretend, like, because some of it is like it looks like a kangaroo wyvern situation, and then he later admitted that it was him in a suit. Damn. I mean, the early 1900s, people were so gullible.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You could have done anything.
Absolutely.
That's why Houdini was such a big.
That's
I
true.
mean, people are escaping stuff today, and nobody gives a.
No.
Jersey Devil definitely does not exist. It's definitely like a manifestation of things at the time, and
Yeah.
I'm sure there's birds in the area that people are like, it's the New Jersey Devil.
Yeah,
but there's
it's like a crow.
Yeah, there's literally no
Which is the
evidence.
devil. Let's not get that twisted. A crow is the devil.
Literally no evidence. So we'll move on. We have our chupacabra,
Mhm.
our boy. You mentioned him.
I did.
He's a weird one to me. I feel like I don't really understand him, even after looking at him a little more. The notable thing about the chupacabra is that he actually, oh my god, I put it so far down, was first spotted in 1995, so very recent.
Crazy, yeah.
A lot of these, like,
30.
I mean, Loch Ness 535, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
You know, his name literally is goat sucker in Spanish. They pretend he's a little vampire. They say he looks like a reptile alien-like creature with spines down his back. No photos, no evidence, really. The only real evidence that people have is like firsthand accounts of people who said they saw him, and then there are a lot of like livestock in the area in
that
which
like
they've
just
claimed,
died a bunch. Yeah.
and they did actually have like puncture holes.
Yeah.
So, but a veterinarian has come out and like they were like they weren't blood dry, they were like bitten, but they were not like, it wasn't like a actual vampire situation. So I feel like I don't understand him, but also I don't think he's real. I really don't.
I like the lore of him. Like,
just like randomly.
Yeah, it's given a good story, but it's like
randomly like eating livestock in the
yeah,
area. It's
no.
like,
Why
yeah.
would he eat is my question. Why just drink the blood, I guess.
and I feel like that's where like the science of it all like makes sense to me.
Yeah,
So
because those fangs, you'd be a carnivore for sure.
Right. Well, exactly. You'd be like tearing up the meat, not just like yeah. I mentioned they weren't blood dry. So a lot of people think that the sightings are of coyotes that are like infested with a parasite. So and they're a common disease, mange in coyotes, where like their fur looks very matted and it falls off. And so like that could attribute to some of the weird like reptile. Reptile, but like it definitely makes their skin not look.
Yeah.
And it also, like, whatever parasite it was, they attributed to, like, that's why they were going after livestock, because they could not get harder meat to kill. Like, the livestock was easy prey, basically. So, like, coyotes, like, needed easy prey, and it was there, and they just, like, killed them. So I feel like there is a little bit more, like, the coyotes make more sense to me.
Yeah.
And people just, like,
They just like to
Definitely.
spice it up a bit.
yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and there was DNA found on some of the carcasses that confirmed it was, like, other animals. There wasn't anything found that was, like,
Reptilian.
yeah, exactly. No alien, no unknown DNA.
It's a reptilian.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, I wish I was more invested in the chupacabra.
I just
but
like saying it, I think.
yeah, I think most people, to be completely honest. So the megalodon, what do you guys know about him?
He's a monster truck.
So true. So huge.
Yeah, Phoenix loves Megalodon.
Really?
Yes,
Oh,
it's
I
one
love
of his
that.
favorites. There's a song, Megalodon.
Oh my
The
God.
party is on.
So
Yeah.
he doesn't know.
Wasn't he watching Megalodon like truck videos while we were at that hockey game?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably.
Well,
Love
I
that.
took him to the museum in DC, the Smithsonian, and they have Megalodon mouth.
Yeah.
And we took a picture in front of that. So
Is it
yeah, he
like-
knows it's a big
Okay.
shark.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Yeah. The thing with the megalodon, he was real.
Yes.
I mean, like,
Yes. 100%.
interesting that he shows up on some of these, like, cryptid lists. So the reason he's on this list is because people think that he still exists today. Like, it's not a species, that the species still exists today.
It's possible.
There's a lot of water out there.
Yeah. I'm not ruling it out. I do think the science is sound on this one too, but I do agree the ocean's big. So the megalodon, everybody, like, seemingly agreed that he was, like, extinct or whatever. And then in 1997, this guy wrote this novel, Meg, a novel of deep terror, which actually inspired the movie The Meg. And
Jaws?
no, there's a movie called The Meg. It's about a megalodon.
Oh, I thought that was like a spoof movie.
No, no, it's yeah. Jaws is a book though too. Like, it's really based on a great white though, so it's not really. This is not necessarily a spoof. Although I don't know, maybe this book is a spoof of Jaws. But anyway, like, he wrote this book, and then people were like, "Well, who's to say that the megalodon doesn't still exist?" And, like, the author is like, so true, Bestie.
You're right. Fair, but
There are reports of fresh teeth that popularized the claims of recent survival. Well, and actually, the megalodon tooth is the state fossil of North Carolina.
Ooh.
Yeah.
interesting.
So the science here feels kind of real to me. So the teeth, they claim, are likely well preserved by thick mineral crust and then had a slower decomposition rate. I think that's possible. I don't know. I mean, fossils are fossils. Like, we find dinosaur bones that are also preserved, or like an amber, the mosquito and the amber. So it's like, I also think the teeth are not the make or break for, like, me personally. And then the other big thing that people felt scientifically, historically, these sharks were warm water coastal sharks. So they're saying it's very likely they could not survive in the deep sea. It's too cold, it's too dark, their prey's not down there. And I kind of agree, for such a big creature, because there are creatures that have existed since prehistoric times. The horseshoe crab is a notable one who's been around for 20 million years. And it has not evolved much since. It's, like, stood the test of time, but it's also foot long. You know what I mean? It's like, it's a normal size.
Yeah.
Birds were dinosaurs, and they're like,
true.
well, birds.
Well, not now.
Yeah, exactly.
Before, when they
You're
existed.
catching my drift.
I was like, hello.
Like, for such a huge, like, this thing's like a whale shark but bigger. Like, to evolve to survive in the deep sea would be crazy. It would take a long time, and it's so unrealistic.
I don't know.
You think so?
Yeah.
I'm holding out hope. I mean, I
I
would
think there's
love-
like one or two, maybe
interesting
3.
But then it gets into your Loch Ness situation. If there's only one,
But they live,
forever.
sea animals live a lot longer.
Do we know that?
Yeah, they do.
I don't know if we know that.
Yeah.
I mean, turtles do, but they're
There's
also
like other
reptiles.
like other sea animals. They live like a long time. Like whales live like 100 years,
Okay.
something like that.
So megalodons must live like thousands.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
They have mega
Yeah.
hello. No. I'm kidding.
Scientists.
I just feel like
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, maybe I don't know. The water's big, but I'm like, with people like being more like, oh, I'm going to the beach, going to the ocean, like maybe it like pushed them back more. I'm like, oh, this one just seems more likely to me, where it's like, oh, like, don't know, like they don't want to.
Yeah.
That makes sense to me.
I mean, I think it's unlikely, but I'm not ruling it out either. Like, I'm not.
Yeah.
Versus like
This
Bigfoot,
whole
I'm not
thing
on.
is like, oh, maybe,
Yeah. They did say that originally they think they went extinct because, get this, the water got colder. So climate change is the opposite way. I mean, the ice age, you know what I mean?
Yeah, prehistoric. Yeah, that makes
the ice age of it all.
Yeah, exactly.
that makes sense.
But I love the idea. I mean, the thing is like they can't even connect modern day sharks to the megalodon. Like there's not
They
even
don't want to.
Girl, I'm gonna send you like a photo later.
They don't want
You're
to.
like, here are actual articles.
I saw I saw the mouth. I
mean,
saw the
yeah.
mouth
Yeah,
at the museum.
I mean, and obviously he definitely existed.
Yeah.
Is he the modern is the modern day shark a cousin? I don't know.
What else if not a cousin?
I mean, think about
A brother.
Oh my god. Okay. Okay.
A son.
Grandfather.
A son.
Yeah, I feel like the megalodon, he's fun, but I don't know. I'm on the fence about him.
I
More
can't
than
believe
some
you're
of
this
these others.
skeptic about these cryptids. That's
I
crazy.
know, isn't it interesting?
I'm shocked.
It is very
I would have
interesting.
expected more from you.
Yeah, but then
More belief is what I mean.
sometimes when like you get some of the data, you're like, well,
I like to be
when that guy came out and said he
oblivious.
footprints, you know what I mean?
it's not enough.
I kind of,
I need Bigfoot himself to tell me he doesn't exist.
actually.
I don't exist. You're like, fair enough.
All right. Can't beat that.
So you're just admitting that nothing will ever change your mind, basically.
I know that there's FBI files on him, so
That brings me to the end.
Thanks.
That was there already, and I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Keep it on there.
do it.
Thank you for indulging me in this. I thought it'd be interesting to see what you guys knew and or believed in. You know what I mean? Because we're conspiracy theory girls on this podcast, and are more believable than others. We could do another one if people like this, but because there's other stuff. I looked into the Mongolian death worm. Not much there. But we could make it a thing.
Yeah.
Make this a thing. But also, we might have to cut this because I don't know how it's gonna land. If these creatures existed, would you be DTF?
That is the turn I was not expecting.
Not all of them, because obviously
He said paranormal romance always up front.
mind.
Aaron, you answer first.
I'm trying to think. I'm gonna say no for Mothman because I read the book, and that one that was too much. Bigfoot, maybe.
I'm saying he's big, he's tall.
Yeah.
He's strong.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I say, like the ones on this list, not necessarily, because like Chupacabra, come on.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not.
Come on.
Just sucks my blood dry. Well,
Sick of that. Yeah.
Exactly.
Rough.
Exactly. Same with who was the other one? Like Loch Ness. Like first of all, I think
Megalodon. Like he's just
Megalodon. Like what are we talking about?
That's crazy.
Yeah. I think I co-sign like the Bigfoot. Mothman TBD. I'm on the fence about him.
I just can't stop thinking about the antennas.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
And I'm just like,
yeah. That's it for me.
So.
And I think he smells like mothballs.
It's probably true, but who knows?
Yeah.
I don't think that author made him smell like moths.
No, he was just a normal guy, but
regular
huge.
guy with antennas.
Exactly.
Big.
I had to throw it in there. I
wasn't true to yourself.
I wasn't really like expecting like a yes or anything. I was just like, you know what, just for shits and gigs. I'm not things on this podcast, and
there you go.
Now we can title the episode.
We have to make it chaotic somehow.
Yeah. That's all I got.
Funny.
So, if we want to move on to loves and icks,
yeah,
keep this party going. I don't have mine, so.
Oh, really?
I have them on my phone, but I didn't send. I was prepared for everything else.
and everything else.
Wow.
Okay, I guess I'll go first. So this ick, I've been on this side of TikTok for way too long, and it really got to a breaking point this last week. But I don't know if you guys are familiar with like the Ash Trevino, Brie Olson, 2K, any of that stuff on
I've
TikTok.
heard of it, but I'm not like deep into it. I don't know the
Okay,
lore.
I've like gotten into like a black hole of this content, but Brie Olson is like a TikToker who does like live streams and stuff, and she dated 2K, who is also doing live streams, and they had a baby, whatever. She started a house called the MILF House, which is like the Bop House, but it's for moms.
It's giving mom talk, but yeah.
Yes, but all of
Yeah.
them are deadbeat moms. None of them have their kids.
Oh God.
None of them
It's just a house.
have their kids.
Well, I guess that like the MILF of it all. It's like
Yes.
I'm a mom. Like,
Yes.
anyway.
So there, like, it's just been this whole saga going back and forth about custody for 2K and Bree's kid because 2K has their son in Texas, and Bree only gets him 2 days out of the month, right? And they got it extended for her to have their son for 7 days, right? But she had to stay in Texas because she lives in LA. She flew to, first of all, she missed the first flight because she overslept.
Wait, I feel like I have seen this.
Yes.
This is kind of okay,
Yeah, so like she missed the first flight because she overslept, and then the second flight she said that she couldn't like change it. So like she missed the doctor's appointment, blah blah blah, whatever. She always has an excuse for like why she can't be there for her son. Anyway, she finally makes it to Texas, and the custody says that she has to stay in Texas with their kid. She's on fucking TikTok live hours later in LA
No.
with her kid at the MILF house with a bunch of like, all they do is party. They make OnlyFans content and they party.
Oh
So
my
like
God.
this kid, he's like 10 months old or whatever. It's just around all
Well, and
these.
even like that's low-key kidnapping.
Yes,
Like
yes.
because she left the state.
Yeah.
High key, like
Yeah.
she's not allowed to leave the
But
state.
he's on live being like, it's not kidnapping if it's my kid. Like,
Oh my God.
I
that's
can
No,
if
honey.
I want to, blah blah blah. So then 2K is like on his live, and he's like, guys, like I'm handling it. Like, don't worry about it. Blah blah blah. So 2K flies to this all happened within the last 3 days. Okay.
Yeah.
And everyone's like trying to keep up because she's like she's streaming all day. She's streaming all day. The kid hasn't eaten. Like
Oh my
it's
God.
so bad. Like they got a flashlight in front. It's so bad. So like by day 3, 2K gets to LA. He calls the cops. The cops are at the house, and she brings the kid down, gives the baby to the dad. And then 2K goes back home to Texas. But the entire time, she just like doesn't give a shit that like her son is like basically everyone in the house is using the kid for content. Like all like, oh, the baby's here, like blah blah blah, all this stuff. So 2K is suing all of them because in California, if you're making money like off of a kid, you have to like give them, you know.
Yeah.
So he's planning to sue all of them that made
I
content
love that.
names and like all of the stuff and save that money for his son. But anyway, it was just a crazy 3 days because everyone's like, where's Winter? Like the baby's name is Winter.
Yeah.
Like, where's Winter? Where's Winter? Because she flew to Texas and then no one heard from her. And then she pops up back in LA.
That's
And it's
crazy.
crazy.
It's wild that she couldn't like. It is 7 days. Just make your content in Texas.
Yeah.
I mean, if you like
Literally.
you really felt the need,
But she couldn't. Yeah.
exactly.
She couldn't.
She is not an entertainer, and she
No.
needed the other people around her.
Yeah.
And it was
Like they had a custody hearing remote. She slept through it. She
That's
said, I don't
crazy.
need to be there because it's remote.
Yeah, you still have to show up.
Yeah.
So
So like she's just such a bad mom, and it's just been
this
so
is just
like
some
to
people
literally
don't need to
see
have
her.
kids.
That's what I'm
Like
saying. Like seeing
Ugh.
her on live with this baby, and
It's so
she's
insane.
like, it's like 10 o'clock at night, and like there's a big, the big flashlights, and like people have their cameras out. Like, yeah, it was crazy. So that's been my ick this week.
Yeah,
Is that I
majorly.
finally came to that, and then my love. It's not really a love. It's more of like an ick, but like just the fact that where we are in the country right now is that there's group chats of war crimes, and they're using emojis.
Yeah.
And I saw the hearing today when someone was like, they printed out the emojis on a board.
yeah.
And they're like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna use this now. And like everyone was like piling on to do it. Like it's not a love, but it's like this is where we're at, and I just have to laugh before I cry because
Yeah.
I just don't like this is such a dystopian like future. Like so everyone's like renaming their group chats like Houthi PC and stuff.
Like if you see a phone number you don't recognize, like
Yeah.
that's
Especially top
what I'm saying.
officials.
It
Like
makes no sense.
I mean, I'm triple checking if I'm talking shit in our group chat that the person I'm talking shit about is not in there, even though I know
I
it's
stay
three of
being
us.
like,
Yeah.
hello, wait, is this the right name? Yes.
So I can't imagine adding and then keeping them in there for that long. That's crazy. And then for them to be like, no, that it's not real.
Yeah.
And then they're like, no, it's real. But we didn't do anything wrong because nothing was classified. It's just a hot mess. But I guess my love is just that, like, there's other people that are saying, like, this is wrong. And I'm not being, like, gaslit to believe that it's not wrong. Like, everyone else is literally saying, okay, this is, like, fucked up. Like, this is messed up. So there's some hope.
I do know two of my loves. I don't know my Icks, so we'll just skip it. I'll just do two loves this week. Call it a day.
Okay. All loves.
Robo got a hat trick last night, and we love that.
We do.
Slay, Jason.
The other thing that I love about it, though, is like I always say to Scott, like every time they pan to him on the bench, he's on the iPad. You know what I mean? Like he gets off the ice, he's on the iPad. He misses a goal, he's on the iPad. And I saw last night on subreddit that they do call him the iPad kid.
They
like,
do?
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
my gosh.
It's like
I love that.
Yeah, they were like the iPad kid got a hat trick. I'm like, okay, so it's not just me.
So funny.
Because I was like, am I projecting because I'm like paying attention to him? Or
Yeah.
like, because like we use the iPad, you know what I mean? It's like they use it frequently, but truly every time he sits down on that bench, the iPad's out. Like
I love that.
comments were funny too because they were like, when he charges the iPad, it charges his battery. It's like, anyway, so I feel like that makes the photo I sent you earlier better, where it's like he's on the phone. Anyway, and then my other love this week is it was announced that Regé-Jean Page is producing and starring in The Count of Monte Cristo, the movie adaptation.
Thank you.
We're so excited for a variety of reasons. But I also have to mention today on March 27th, 2025, that when this movie comes out and the girls are back on Regé's side,
back of the line.
Yeah, I knew I was here when you hated him for leaving Bridgerton. When he didn't actually leave Bridgerton, he signed a 1-season contract, and they did not renew. He did not renew. It was a mutual agreement that it was going to be 1 season. It wasn't like he did not choose to not whatever. The girl mad at him, and it's like, and then they always want to say online, well, what's he even been up to? First of all, he's been in
so many things,
Dungeons and Dragons, Black Bag. He's been in tons of things.
So many things.
Booked and busy, and y'all he hasn't done a thing since Bridgerton. Just because he wasn't in fucking Wicked, like Jonathan Bailey, does not mean he's not booked and busy. And now, when this movie comes out and you love him again in 2-3 years, whenever the movie finally drops, like you're back of the line. Yeah. Back, and do not try to play on my For You page that you love him again, because you don't. You're a fake fan, and you
preach it, Katie. Keep going.
It's like the way you can't even mention this man's name on TikTok without someone in the comments being like, but he left Bridgerton. Like, who the fuck?
But he's not doing anything.
He's busy. He is booked and busy. What has Phoebe done since Bridgerton? Not a damn thing. She's going to tennis matches with her fiance.
Damn.
Yeah.
I mean, I love you, Phoebe, but like, girl, you haven't done a thing. You haven't done a thing. And Reggie's out here grinding in the streets in big blockbuster movies with Chris Pine. I'm like, I can't live like this. I'm so mad. And the girls are still not on his side. Like, this dropped and they were like, whatever, moving on. But like, I just know when this movie comes out, they're gonna be back on his side, and I'm gonna be the one remembering the trenches.
Yeah.
Me off. But for now, it's a love because I know I'm on the right side of history.
There we go.
Absolutely. We were talking about it today in the group chat, and I was like, this is everything. Like,
talking about it. I truly can't. And it was announced today he's in some other movie with Halle Berry. Halle
or Haley?
Bailey.
Haley.
Yeah.
Halle
Bailey.
Halle Bailey.
Yeah.
I was like,
I do know her name. She was Ariel. I love her. But they're in another project too. So like, he literally in the last week has had 2 projects announced. Again, Phoebe, girl, where are you? But that's also a racism thing. So we're moving on. But
yeah, I was gonna say, I was like, A black person has to work
yeah.
15 times as hard, so
Yeah, but when he's famous again, well, he's still famous, but
he's famous again.
you know what I mean. When he's
back on their radars, we'll be here.
exactly
Oh
when
my
he's back in the good graces of the trash for you page that I'm existing on. Yeah, that's that.
I love that. I'll start with my loves. I'm not going to go deeply into this because we don't need any details and it's truly foul, but there was an author that got arrested this week that needed to get arrested, and good. Okay. Not more people need to be arrested because
No, more
prisons.
people need to be arrested.
They also
but like
also held accountable.
Yeah.
Like
yes, held accountable is where I was going with that. Another love of mine, I am now on rich people TikTok, mainly Becca Bloom, but they're doing it like there's rich people TikTok and they're just like flaunting their wealth. It's like gross, annoying, you don't want to see it. But then there's like rich people who are just like, oh, like this girl Becca Bloom, she like her parents are wealthy, yes, but she also like works in tech, grinds, like does her things, like has her degrees, and she's also wealthy. And so she's just like, oh yeah, like here's my outfit of the day. I don't know if I'm doing this right because I just started TikTok, but like la la la. And I'm like, I love watching it. Like I'm eating it up, girl. Like, yeah, wear your Chanel matching suit, like stew with your, bags and everything. And here's this car that pops out an umbrella. Like I'm living. Like they open the door, in the door, you like press a button, an umbrella pops out. I was like, that's amazing. What else? Oh, I got my acrylics off finally. Love, because they were really pissing me off.
My God.
But now my nails look busted. So I'm like,
Oh.
whatever. And I just have to keep putting my nail oil on and just like make it work. My last love, I went to a poetry reading yesterday with my sister. She's in town for a conference and she was like, oh, do you want to come to this? I was like, sure. So I like knowing like 0% about it, because I was thinking conference. I was like, okay, how long is this poetry reading gonna be? Like she gave me basically no details. And so I went to the poetry reading. First of all, it was called Cave Canem, and it's like the reason that this like poetry organization started by these two men is because they wanted to showcase the underrepresented Black voices in poetry, like the poetry scene. And I was like, okay, slay, love. So I was like, already love that. And like the room was like 97% Black people. And I was like, okay, slay. And then like a couple others, one white person. I said, okay. I said, hey. Hey. But anyway, so the gag of this is there was a cocktail hour before. And so my sister already has her bev and her food. So I'm in line. She's waiting with me. I was like, okay, like, do you want to go sit at that table? And it was like a full table empty with the one white person. She was like, no, I'm not going to sit with the one white person at this all Black. And I was like, fair enough. And so I was like, okay, well, there are like it was like standing tables. I was like, there are open spots like at this table. And she was like, and so I'm like already walking over and I was like, hey, like, can we stand here? And there were three ladies at the table. They were like, oh my gosh, yes, like, of course. And so we started chitty chatting and they're just like so kind, so wonderful. They're like older Black women that I'm just like, okay, you're iconic. Like, I love every bit about you. And then this guy comes over. He's like, or this woman like is like, oh, let me introduce you to this guy. He's an author. He just like has a book out, blah, blah, blah. And then him and this other lady like start talking and they're like name dropping all these like poets. And like my sister next to me, she's like, oh, okay. And I'm just like, because like before I had like the guy came over, they were like, oh, so like we're all poets here. And I was like, don't let me into this. And so I was like, my sister, she's like, oh, I'm a poet, blah, blah, blah. And then I was like, I'm just here for vibes, honestly. Like I came with my sister. I work in PR, but I do book publicity. So that's cool. So I'm like around nonfiction and like whatever. But I'm like, I'm not a poet. And they were like, oh, very cool to come. Anyway, so these people are having a chat. They're like name dropping everything, blah, blah, blah. Like we're kiki cacaing. Like it's a fun time. they're like, okay, like everyone go into the poetry reading. And so me and my sister get one last beverage before like we, you know, go in. And my sister is like, okay, not you bringing me to a table filled with all these very famous poets. And like, no, like they were name dropping all of my sister's like heroes. Like all these ladies are like, one was like the editor in chief of this like magazine, like LA some magazine, and then one is like this high professor at like Emory College in Atlanta. Like it was like all this crazy stuff. I was like, oh, I don't know. Like I literally was just like, these are just three ladies who I'm like chitty chatting. She was like, I'm gagged. And her friends who also live in LA who are like currently getting their PhD for like poetry or whatever. And they were also going to be gagged. And she was like, I have to tell them right now. So then I'm waiting in line for my second beverage. And one of the ladies comes back up to me. She's like, are you in a relationship? I was like, no, I'm, currently single. She was like, oh, that is a shame. You should be in a relationship. What I'm going to do right now is manifest, grab my hands. And I was like, oh, okay. She was like, I am manifesting. You like deserve to have somebody, blah, 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 blah. So if I have a man by like this year, you know why. Okay. Like it was that lady. She was like, manifesting over me, and my sister was just like gagged off to the side because she like knew that this like woman was like a famous poet like, or like it was just crazy. And I was like, here are the vibes. So it was just funny. So yeah, so it was just a fun night. And the poetry, like, first of all, they were like, you have 5 minute max. And there were like 15 people. So it like went by quickly. I was like, okay. Because I was like, I'm not sitting here. So I will sit there. But I was like, it went by quickly. Anyway, so my icks, I'll quickly go over them. I was promised a seafood boil on Tuesday with my friends. And then the line was like 30 or 35 minutes. And they were like, we're not waiting in this. Let's go to this restaurant. And I have been craving a seafood boil for like time. And I was like, wow, I hate everything. So that was an ick. My For You page this week has shown me a couple like alpha male TikToks.
Oh.
And half of them were like people reacting to it, but I'm still like, I don't like the energy of that.
Wait, are you talking about the guy who wakes up at 3 a.m.?
No, I think it was just like,
oh, okay. Yeah, we're talking about.
I've seen that, but I was like, so maybe that can be included in this, but it was just like men with like microphones, and I was like,
oh, okay.
I was like, wow, you really, it's just crazy that men be thinking like that, and they're chitty chatting and talking like that. And I'm like, disgusting. Anyway, and then I wrote people being rude for no reason. Don't know why I wrote that, but that's explainable. Yep. That's self-explanatory.
What a time.
Those are those.
Thank you everyone for indulging me again. Love the loves and icks from everyone. And thank you to all of our listeners.
Yeah, you won't hear her voice for a while.
Yeah. I mean,
true.
You'll see me on Instagram in Japan, so
Exactly.
I'll be back when I'm back. But we're excited.
Yeah.
Until then.
Konnichiwa.
Bye.
Bye.